Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about she's already with somebody new, right? So this obviously always sucks. And I think sometimes people get the wrong impression when this kind of thing happens because first of all, let's talk about the reality of rebound relationships. So if this woman has gone from you and she's now dating someone else straight away, so that means, let's say it's only been like a few weeks or a few days, right? If it's been something like a year or like 6 months, then it's unlikely that it is a rebound relationship. But if it's been within the first few weeks, within the first few days, maybe in the first couple of months of breaking up with you, then it's more than likely a rebound relationship that she's in, right? If not, if it won't be a rebound relationship, it was like 6 months plus. Okay, well, it's unlikely. It still could be, but it's unlikely. So the reality of rebound relationships is when someone goes straight from one relationship into another. They have no time to cool down, they have no time to heal and get over the past relationship because now they're in a brand new relationship. So that means they haven't had time to reflect on the old relationship. They haven't had time to think of, okay, so what went wrong in that old relationship, right? What went wrong and what did I do to contribute to making that relationship fail, right? Because that's what you get when you do have more time in between relationships. You get to have time to reflect, to think about your own behavior and think about, okay, well, I'm not going to do that again. Perhaps let's say, for example, you were passive aggressive sometimes and you gave them the silent treatment, and perhaps that contributed for there to be more friction in your relationship. And now you're thinking, okay, so I'm not going to do that again when I go into a new relationship. I'm not going to give people the silent treatment. I'm not going to be passive aggressive. I'm going to try and communicate clearly because that didn't work in my past relationship, right? But if someone goes from one relationship straight into another, they don't have that time to reflect, to work out those old issues. So what they do is they then bring all these bad and negative habits into the new relationship, right? And therefore, that relationship either fizzles out by its own and it doesn't work, right? Because they haven't had time to heal, or they do end up staying together for a long time, but it's not a healthy or happy relationship. Now, of course, that's not always the case because sometimes people can change while they're in a relationship, especially if both people are willing to work on the relationship. So there is a chance that it could actually work out with this person that she's now with. But again, it's quite unlikely. And the reason why that is because there hasn't been that cool off period for her. Right, she hasn't had time to think about the relationship she was in, reflect, get over it, right? So when she goes into this new relationship, the emotions are going to be still really raw. She's probably going to be feeling insecure, doing things that display insecurity. So don't feel bad that she's in a new brilliant relationship, no matter how wonderful it may seem and may look on social media. Perhaps they look really happy, but again, what you got to remember about social media is just a highlight reel. If they've gone on a holiday recently, you didn't see them bickering at the airport. You didn't see them getting annoyed with each other on the plane. You're just seeing the pictures, right? The nice pictures that they took. And even those pictures, there are probably like 10 other pictures where they tried to get the picture looking perfect, right? So that's something else that you got to think about. Don't worry about how wonderful things may seem on social media because it's an illusion, right? It is an illusion. It's not real. Okay, it's just a highlight reel, right? Okay. So the reality of rebound relationships is they usually never last very long. Or if they do, they're unhappy relationships, right? And if they're not unhappy relationships, it's required the both of them to work on things, to work through their issues. They probably even may need to see some sort of counselor, or perhaps they find a dating coach like myself or someone else on the internet that will help them with their relationship. But the thing is that not many people are actually willing to work on themselves. Not many people are actually willing to change their old habits. So it's very likely that this relationship is going to be a crap relationship. It's not going to be a very happy one. And because it's a rebound, it's even more likely so. Okay. So another thing that I want you to think about as well is that it's not a race, right? Don't feel like you have to now find a relationship because she's found a new relationship, right? Please don't feel like you need to do that. It's not a race down the altar, right? You know, there's a couple that I know, and they got married. They got remarried. They'd already been married before, and the ex-wife of the man who got married suddenly then became engaged to be married not long after the marriage of this couple. So, you know, you could tell that she was then trying to race down the altar, you know, straight away. And even though they'd been in these other relationships for like years and stuff, so it's like it was really suspicious, and the timing was very suspicious that this woman decided to become engaged not long after, very shortly after the marriage of this other couple. So that's kind of, you know, it's not a race, right? Because it's not a good idea to do that sort of thing. It's not a good idea to feel like, oh my God, I need to find someone now so I can beat, you know, the other person. I can beat my ex down the altar. I can race them down. Because that's not going to do you any favors either. Because if you're thinking, oh no, I need to find a relationship now, I need to be with someone now so I can beat my ex, and they're moving on faster than what I am, that's not going to help the situation, because all that's going to happen is you are now going to be in a rebound relationship, right? Because you still got your ex in the back of your mind. You know, you're playing with your head a little bit. You know, when you're sort of thinking, oh, I need to find someone fast, and then you just settle for anybody because you're just trying to beat your ex. So don't do that. Do the opposite of that. Take your time to find someone who is right for you, right? Take the time that you need to now become stronger, right? And get over the relationship, you know. So that means, you know, realizing that you will need time to get over it, especially if you found this video in a very upset state, now that you found out that your ex is now in a rebound and is now in a new relationship, right? So if that's the case, then, you know, you need to really take your time, because obviously you're still not over it yet. Because you wouldn't have found this video if you still weren't over it yet. And just take your time. Please take your time finding someone else, because you don't want to end up with just anybody because you're trying to beat your ex, right? So I think one of the best ways that you can become strong is by working on those insecurities. I made a video on my personal development channel called Work on Your Weaknesses, and that I help people in that video with like some ideas on why that's important, and some examples of why that's important. So especially in terms of relationships, right? So if you are insecure about different things, if it's to do with the opposite sex, or if it's to do with any social anxiety that you have, or it could be that you're thinking back on the past relationship and thinking about the things that you did wrong, even though it may have been their fault mostly that the breakup happened, there are probably still some things that you know that you did that you could have done better. So working on those weaknesses will really, really help you. But first of all, you need to become aware of what those things are, take time to reflect, know what you're not going to do again. And one of those things that you probably shouldn't do again is be with someone who is exactly like your ex. Because sometimes you see people doing that. You see people going into relationships, sometimes rebound relationships, with someone who's like a carbon copy of their ex. So you don't want to be doing anything like that. You know, you need to be figuring out, what is it that I truly want in a relationship? Right? What kind of person do I want to be with? You know, what will my ideal partner want to do in their life? What would their values be? What would their lifestyle be like? And get very clear on that. So, you know, so that when you do go back out in the dating world and you start meeting new people, you can be looking out for the green flags, and also importantly as well, looking out for the red flags that you do not want anymore. But please do not feel like you need to rush and find someone just because your ex has found someone new. It's not gonna help. And if you feel like that, then obviously there's some sort of insecurity there. So please do go and check out that video, because that will hopefully help you with that sort of thing, to help you work on your weaknesses. Because if you work on your weaknesses, they then become your strengths, and therefore you've become stronger. Okay. So another thing that I want to just kind of leave off with is, really at this point, what she does is none of your business, right? And one of the reasons why you may be feeling upset about this kind of thing is because you're still probably checking up on her social medias, or you're probably still talking to your friends about that sort of thing, and they've kind of relayed this information to you. You need to stop doing anything on social media that makes you, like checking up on her profiles and doing things like that, that make you, that remind you of her, basically. Take some time off of social media if you need to, or block her. Do whatever is necessary for your own mental health. That's going to help you move on, instead of doing things that are keeping you stuck, like checking up on her social medias, like inquiring with friends what she's up to and who she's with. Stop doing that kind of thing, because that's just going to keep you stuck and it's not going to help you move on. But what you got to think of is, she's in a rebound relationship. If it's that soon, then she's in a rebound relationship, so it's not going to work anyway. And you're going to do the right thing. You're going to take time to heal. You're going to take time to reflect. You're going to work on your weaknesses, so when you come into a new relationship, you can then have a better relationship, right? And while she is in her miserable rebound, you'll be in a new, happy, and stronger relationship. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.